and he got one bobble, saved it, another bobble, and the car's just really light for him right now, and he just lost it.
You got to tip your cap to Suarez. He saw the issues that Cindric was having. He flared up, gave him plenty of room, but Austin just couldn't keep his car going straight. And Brad, he said on the radio, I don't really know what I could have done there. What advice would you give your quasi-teammate about what he could have done? Adam, 3 wide around the lap car, and I guess he's just going to lose the nose and bounces. Just bounces up into the side of Tommy Joe Martins. And then that turned his car right around.
Had the early crash at Daytona. Bounced back with a solid effort last weekend at Atlanta. But an early exit again for the driver out of Mooresville, North Carolina.
Now, Michael, we've seen 2 wrecks today, and both of them, they've hit the wall in areas you would have never thought we'd hit the wall. So thank you to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for putting safer barriers. We saw Jeff Gordon hit there, I think it was 2008, and it was a massive hit before there was a safer barrier there. So thank you, Bruton Smith and the SMI team, for making the investment on behalf of all the drivers.
Looks like a little bit of damage there for Ty Majeski.
Started there with Christopher Bell. Got out of shape, into the wall on the 20, one of our pre-race favorites.
It almost looked like something went wrong to his car. He just shot up the racetrack, and then everyone checking up behind him.
I could just hear the spotters for everyone behind Bell. Check up, check up, check up. And when they did, this happened. Casgrala in the 24, the 60 of Ty Majeski also going for a ride.
Looks like Alex Labbe never really hit anything hard in that 36 car, so he'll be able to continue. Good job.
Get it in there. Reverse.
Majeski got through that first crash nicely, but he's got issues now. Justin Allgaier from the high side to the low, and Brandon Jones was just right there. Nice job by Shane Lee again, getting by on the outside. Spencer Gallagher does a nice job, but then behind him, check up, check up, check up.
Everyone's trying to check up, and I think this all started when Allgaier was trying to pass Ryan Reed. Ryan went up the racetrack, got loose in front of Justin. Justin had a big run, going to come down the racetrack, but nope, somebody's there, and that's where they made the contact, and then here's in the back there. That's where the chaos begins.
Really frustrating for Nemechek. Been in the top 10, top 5 all day long. They had a long pit stop. Went from 6th to 18th on that last stop. That's why they're back there in the middle of the mess.
And when you change lanes like that, that's just aggressive racing at a short track. And that time it didn't work. And you could see a big shot into the right side of the 42 car for Nemechek.
You know who this was good for? Cole Custer. He
checked up, and then they all just stacked up there.
Great job by those other drivers avoiding the spinning Allgaier.
5th caution of the night on board here with Chase Briscoe.
Reckon, back it down, 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 back it down. Keep it up top.
When a wreck happens like this, as you can see,
it doesn't take much, and at that part of the racetrack is probably where the cars that are most unstable. As that banking goes away and you're still got a little bit of steering wheel angle in the car, you're still turning a little bit, and the car's right on edge, and it doesn't take much.
You said it, Joey. I don't even know that he even touched him. If he did, it wasn't much. Like you said, the cars are very, very light there, and the least little bit of change in direction behind you can upset your car and take
the
it out
one
from
thing that you
underneath
can't really see from the cameras in these cars, they have a little crown to the back bumper and the front bumper, and if you get offline just a little bit, this is exactly what happens. Man, some big hits there. Well, we've had our first caution for an accident. I would say most likely it won't be
traffic, and we're going to get another caution, 8th of the day. Man, we mentioned Dylan Lupton. Wrong place, wrong time. He and Ty Majeski get together with 32 to go.
He just dumped you.
So there was contact there with Ryan Sieg. He gets by. Majeski goes around. Nowhere for Lupton to go.
Yeah, he chose the bottom, and it didn't work out. He came to the bottom. The 60 car just gets that momentum, and you can't get stopped quick enough to miss it.
How much bad luck has Ty Majeski had?
Yeah, that restart, remember early, he's getting a big push from Elliott Sadler, maybe missed a shift. And now here, Ryan Sieg down on the inside.
Quarter.
I said bad luck. I didn't just mean today. I meant his 3 starts this year. Bristol, Talladega, here this afternoon. Here's the 4 wide you talked about, Michael.
Yes, and you could see Lupton maybe trying to get up in line and just turned hard into the outside while that was Austin Cindric. Cindric had the spot, and Lupton tried to take it.
Yeah, and that's at that point of the race where you can't let a guy have something like that. 33 laps to go. It's time to make your way to the front, and there's There's going to be a lot more take than there is give at this point.
I was going to say, this is just part of doing business when there's less than 40 laps to go, right?
Look at that crowd ahead of those guys, though. That's crazy how hard they're racing, and I love it. It's good TV.
And you hate this for Dylan Lupton because
we talked about in the pre-race. Oh, there's a crash.
Hard into the wall. 60 of Chase Briscoe, Michael Annett got some of that as well. Caution is out. Fourth one of the afternoon. Briscoe, rookie, 23 years old, out of Mitchell, Indiana, has an ARCA win here, won the ARCA championship a couple seasons ago.
Here. And now I do love the strategy by Justin Allgaier.
Yeah, he looks like a hero right now.
Because I think,
or his crew chief does.
A lot of people will pit here. See if we can see what happened.
They were both inside the top 10.
Oh, man.
Allgaier gets loose and just simply nowhere for Chase Briscoe to go.
Yeah, it looked like the 60 was just going to try to get to his outside, and then once they got hooked together, and that corner, it's so hard, I feel like, to explain to people at home about how fast that is, how rough it is. It's hard visually just to see through there. It's so bouncy. Bouncy. that was a word that I feel like
you know, it's tough for Annett because they had the early spin, came back from that, and inside the top 10, and then this.
Trouble.
Daniel Hemrick saw him getting aggressive, and that's Austin Cindric in the 60, going for a slide. Caution out, 8-time today.
You can see some damage on the left rear there, maybe side drafting, some contact, and around he went.
Woo, that was intense.
See what happens here. I saw damage on the left rear. Does he get together with Annett? Oh. Combination of things happened there. I think the 60 of Cindric tried to get in a hole. Maybe a spotter called him off, pulled down to the inside, and they made contact.
Yeah, it looked like he had the hole there for a second. He went for it and maybe thought maybe he's there, and he didn't want to crash and by clearing himself up when there was a car there. But and then he got to the back bumper and around they went.
Right there, you saw what he did. Oh, around goes the 60. Austin Cindric wrecking in front of the crowd. Daniel Hemrick's caught up. Tyler Reddick, Cindric, barrel rolls.
See when you're done, top one.
Lands back on his wheels.
Okay, Matt Tiff trying to make a lot happen.
Joey Gase in the 35, sitting right up against the 60 now.
Think you'll have a shot to win this race, and then you find yourself flipping through the corner. That's Daytona. So you see right here, they enter the corner. It's up the racetrack a little bit. Matt Tiff's going to try to drive in there to get to his inside, and they just got together. 60 of Austin Cindric just wasn't on the very bottom of the racetrack. Opened up a little bit of hole that Matt Tiff you thought was there, and then you see right here the contact with Reddick. Started Cindric's flipping. That's very unusual to see a car flip that late after initial impact. So here we go above.
Well, Jeff, you knew it was just a matter of time. It was trying to get really bunched up too wide, and Matt Tiff thought it's under 20 to go. He had to make a lane. You see that tumble, as you mentioned, really rough for the 60 car, but basically Matt Tiff thought it was time to try to make it 3 wide. And we've seen that before, Dale, out of the tri-oval. If that inside road doesn't protect the double yellow line, that's a...
Sideways is Majeski into the wall. He got up into the gray, slid sideways, and caught the wall.
If Nemechek got into him or not.
I'll get a look at it. Still inside here.
Spotter's going to try to look at it. That right side, you can see a little bit of damage on the front, but mostly to the rear of that car.
You see John Hunter Nemechek, that red and white 42, doesn't make contact. Just, there were 3 wide. Majeski out there in that slippery part of the racetrack. Has the air pulled off of him on top of that, and it just loses the car. That's one of the dangers, Steve, of using a strategy to put a car in the front of the pack that is not necessarily as fast as some other cars they're racing against.
Yeah, Jeff, it's a great idea, right? The 60 was running 16th before he took 2 right side tires, which gained him all that track position. But that is a tough spot to put a...
Thought he'd have a great spinner.
And around goes the 60.
Kyle Majeski in the grass.
We saw Majeski have some issues got up into the light gray, put him into the wall earlier.
To us, come to the left, come to the left, come to the left, come to the left.
Slides into the grass. The spotter's letting him know. Go right to pit road.
Won the Slinger Nationals earlier this week.
Right in front of Kyle Busch.
Oh. Yeah, that's just, he has so much damage on the car from that incident earlier, and just trying to get all you can, never quit.
Bale at the racetrack.
You're all jacked up behind you.
Christopher Bale was chasing his car up the track when
Keep coming up top.
he jumped on the roof cam there.
Yellow.
Just trying to stay out of the way here. Ty's trying to stay out of the way and
There's Briscoe trying to hang on to it.
Wow.
And wow, Bell gets into him. As Chase Briscoe spins, Bell with nowhere to go. That tricky turn 4 has bitten Chase Briscoe late in the going and changed the entire complexion of this race.
Goodness, I don't know if Christopher Bell's this good or has a lot of luck on it. So right here, that's a lot of luck. He has nowhere to go. All you can do, you don't want to stand on the brakes because then
this is a car that already had a good lap. You see him spin around in the carousel. That's pretty hard contact. This 60 is going to have to really look. We'll take another look at it. That's heavy damage. Look at the front of that car. I would say that's going to be a backup car for the 60. We'll have to take a look and see what they.
time today we got another accident in the same area.
This time Austin Cindric in the 60 is around.
No caution again. This time less contact, it looks like, with his car. Let's take a look and see how this happened. Looks like he's got some donuts. Maybe that's part of this. Oh, I don't know if he got any help there. We see it a little bit late, but no contact. He'll get righted, carry on, lose a little track time, but no issue.
And while all of that is
It is Chase Briscoe, and the back end torn off of that Mustang. Track stays green. A little bit of debris there, Dale.
Yeah, I can't imagine that there's not something back there where all of this happened also.
There's about to be.
Yes, if there was any contact or if just got, there's a lot happening back in there. And then it gets hit from behind.
Yep. Two cars got bottled up. He was trying to save his car. Ooh, that's where the side got ripped off. The rear bumper cover, anyway.
Got a lot of damage to the right front of someone. Hard to see from here.
Benjamin on the inside. That'd be
the 5 of Annette.
23 of Gallagher on the outside. Here goes Briscoe around. Oh! It was the 8 of Cody Ware.
see the damage to the front end of the 60. So Chase Briscoe.
Let's see how it happened here. Coming off of turn 4. On the inside of Chastain. Just gets in the door of the Chastain, and we see that over and over here, Jeff.
Here more than anywhere else, you see a guy's right front fender hit a guy in the door, and it just turns you around, getting in the corner on corner exit, more at this racetrack than any other racetrack we've seen.
90% of the time, you're going to hit something. That's pretty much going to end his race. He stood in the gas, which drives the car down the racetrack into the inside wall a little sooner. It's hard to avoid hitting the walls in that situation.
This is more as we watch. You can see just got the right rear off as he's trying to arc into the corner a little bit too much there and spun around. Oh yeah. Whoa.
Man, he is fortunate.
Wow. Did a nice job. Kind of stood in the gas there when he got off track, and that kept him out of the wall. Getting any damage, but that.
And guys, well, that's the kink. That's one of the fastest corner probably on the racetrack. And we talked to James Davison earlier.
In there, and then Davison did a great job of coming back. Yeah,
Allgaier work.
You got a huge lead here, but there's still a lot of work to be done. We talk about a 4-mile road course. You got 14 corners, a lot of shifting. Don't get too complacent here. The last thing you want to do is start taking things easy, and then you find your shift points are different. You're doing things a little bit different. You wheel hop, you miss a corner.
This is Ryan Truex we're riding along with, and Ryan Truex gets into the back of him.
Yeah, just misjudgment there by the driver. You know, it certainly wasn't anything intentional in that situation, but that doesn't help Austin Cindric at all.
We're going to ride on board with the 60. You see clear out front. Has no idea it's coming. It's turned around off turn 4. Pretty solid contact, and now you see why he's so disappointed.
Go low.
He didn't do anything wrong. That's what's the disappointing part, is you've done nothing wrong. You know, you got yourself single file and think that you're in a good position there. And yeah, and again, it wasn't, Ryan Truex wasn't trying to do anything there, except he just misjudged. And, you know, you're looking out the front of a car, and when you misjudge by only 3 or 4 inches, unfortunately, it creates a situation
down,
like
they block. The 60 goes around Briscoe hard into the wall. And the window net coming down. He sees the flames coming out in the engine, and Briscoe.
Today. After restart, everybody's very aggressive. Contact with the 9 and the 20 in front of Briscoe, and just got into that curvature of the wall, the inside wall.
Yeah, this is going to show you just how hard this impact was.
Oh. That's something the tracks have to continue to look at. How can we get those curves out of the walls? You want to be able to have access for personnel, safety personnel, to quickly get to the drivers, but you can see that access point creates a bad point of impact. Safer barrier doing a great job, but it's just that angle of impact that's so bad.
And think about that. All 4 tires once again off the ground on this about 3,500-pound race car. And so Chase Briscoe, who was running in the 7th position, part of this. That hard hit brings out the caution for the 7th time today. And we'll set up yet another restart.
There's absolutely nothing he could have done differently there. Oh, gosh.
Thankfully, the safer barriers were there to absorb some of that hit. But this is, once again, will remind you, such a dangerous sport.
And you get accustomed to how fast the cars are going, and you almost become immune to it. But, you know, you're going right there. You're probably going 170 miles an hour, 175 miles an hour, and it's just huge impacts. And that angle of the impact is where the problem's caused. Ty Majeski with a big impact.
We got hit.
Hard impact.
Are you kidding me?
He was running 14th.
And this team, I cannot count the number of cars that this team has
The 16 hooked me.
crashed this year. Here he's talking about 16. That's his teammate, Ryan Reed.
I let him go, and he's got to race the crap out of me when I get back to him.
Talking about Ryan Reed and the 16. And now under caution for just the 2nd time. This is the first time for an incident.
So here they are, 3 wide. I don't know. I'm not so sure that maybe Ty expected Ryan to be higher up the racetrack. Here it is. There it is. Ryan drives into the right rear quarter panel. Ty was right. Look at that car, that impact. I don't blame him for being upset. He held his line, and Ryan Reed did not hold his line and got into the 60.
You heard him say, "Are you kidding me?"
That's the 11th.
Yeah, so many times.
DNF for an accident this year with his 60 car. I don't blame him for being upset.
Hard hit there by Majeski.
And I don't blame Jack Roush for being upset either.
and that view, it didn't look like the 16 came away from the car that was on the outside. But when we were looking straight on, it did look like he veered to the inside.
Yeah, I think the 16 was just trying to get underneath that lap car.
Entering turn 5 uphill. Just got in there too hot on this cool down lap.
You wouldn't expect that.
I mean, he may have been trying to run another lap. You can see a little contact there. That should be okay. Some guys did run 2 laps, so he may have been trying to run a second lap and improve his time because he's 8th, and maybe he just, for Ross Chastain to be back here in 30th without an opportunity to try to get any stage points.
See Ty Majeski around.
And they'll display a blue flag letting the drivers know as they're coming up on that there's something that they need to be aware of and potentially avoid, but no caution on the track. Parker.
And guys, actually, we're talking. Got a little radio there for Ty Majeski. Well, and also I want to go into just trying to make a pass. I'm watching a lot of these drivers, like Justin Allgaier was trying to make a pass on Ty Majeski, Cole Custer on Daniel Henry.
Just a little bit ago, this is entering turn 1. You can see him. He just gets away from him, trying to put the throttle down and around the car win, and that's what we're hearing so much of these drivers are talking about. Is if you push it all and you overstep your bounds, before you know it, the car's around.
A little bit of a scare for Justin Allgaier. He didn't like to see that, Jeff.
No, and look at a lot of guys up front that have never won an Xfinity race. Now with only 22 laps to go, it's going to get aggressive. There it starts.
There it is, turn 1. They pile up. We saw Ryan Truex get into the wall, and then.
And that's something we're going to have to watch for tomorrow. But look at 11. Overdrives entry. Slows down, trying to miss the wall.
Bumper. Oh!
Up the racetrack, he catches the 60. Into the wall he goes. Caution comes out.
Okay, hold your line here. Hold your line. Stay straight.
See right here, it's aggressive driving from Chastain, but there's a price to pay for that. Now the 2 cars starting behind you. So if the 2 car needs to move you, you just gave him a proficient slip. Hey man, I drove you like that. That means you can drive me the same.
So, 2 teammates.
Once again, a car on the outside of another car, taking the air off the 60 car. Majeski driving the 60. Just up the racetrack in Ryan Reed, and nothing new. That's the same wreck we've seen all day long.
And who will come to pit road? That now is the big question.
Well, and the reason we continue to talk about fuel is because it seems like tires, once they cool, they kind of come back.
There's a spin in turn 3, the 60.
And in front of that, the 42. Yeah,
Shane Lee in the 3 got him.
Yeah.
On the race. We've got a problem. Problem on the race. Problems behind.